Hello and welcome back to Unmasking the Trans Movement with Jon Uhler. I'm your host, Brad Wilder. Today on the show, Jon is here. He's got a great guest to bring in. Today's show is going to include the books that are in your children's schools from kindergarten all the way up through to grade 12. The indoctrination is thick, the ideology is disgusting, and we are going to show the real truth and the real facts. There's some disturbing material ahead in today's show, and I want to warn all parents that children don't need to be involved. So please do this without your kids around. But then I started thinking, what kind of disclaimer is that when your kids are being forced to see this at kindergarten, grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, and all the way up to grade 12? There's hiding nothing today. We're not going to back out on anything. What the school boards have shut parents down on is not going to be happening here. This is our platform. This is our time. We will show you the truth here and now. Jon Uhler, welcome back. Thank you very much for being on the show today.
Brad, thank you. That introduction was perfect because we are dealing with almost the one topic now that is truly making its way into the news that is familiar to a lot of people now. If you've been watching the news, you see parents that are going to school boards and they are reading books. What books are they reading? The books that are in the kids' libraries. We have elementary school, middle school or junior high, and high school that our parents are now awakening to what is being made available to their kids, and they are mad as heck, and they're not going to take it anymore. They approach school boards, and while they're reading exactly what's in the books that are being made available by the school boards to these kids, the school board members do what? They flick the switch and they mute these parents.
That's right.
Well, here on Unmasking the Trans Movement, because that's exactly what we're doing, we're going to unmask exactly what is being made available to to our kids. And there's nobody better than Pierre Barnes to do that. Pierre, thank you so much. Welcome to Unmasking the Trans Movement.
Yeah, thank you, Jon. Thanks for inviting me.
Pierre, you and I have known each other for a couple of years, and I thought we have to cover this issue because this is kind of boots on the ground. This is where we all are. It all comes down to what is being put in front of kids. And these kids, our kids are being groomed. There's no other way to put it. That's an actual technical term. They're being sexually groomed. How do you do that? You override boundaries, especially physical boundaries and mental boundaries as far as propriety, as far as what is or isn't normal. And as I've told people, if the men in my sex offender treatment groups, I have 3 groups, I'm ready to start a 4th, sadly. If any of the men in my groups were found in possession of any of these books, they'd be violated out of sex offender treatment group and sent back to prison. These are the kind of books that are used to groom kids by perpetrators, as well as they call it softening the target. And I don't know if any other person, let alone a dad, and I'm so proud of you for this, you have taken the time to do what a lot of us haven't done and don't have the time. You've done the work for us. Pierre, would you please walk us through some of the books that are in the libraries, but even before that, tell us how you awakened to this, because you're a dad. So you were, your life is busy. You're just trying to do the right thing. And lo and behold, you found out about a few things, and then you began to investigate, and you're able to show us now what are in these books. So talk to us. How did you get drawn into this struggle, as it were, that we're all fighting against as we unmask the trans movement?
Yeah, so I just want to specify that I don't have the time to. I did take the times to do it. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of dads should do the same. With families and work, I don't think anyone's got the time to do these things, but it is necessary for the safety of our children, actually. So all they did start with me. It started the trans things, right? And the books actually in schools. It started where the principal at my daughter's school, he put a pride walls into the school on Facebook, actually. So, and I was already aware that of the over sexualization agendas and that were happening in school. So I always had an eyes on the schools of my daughter to see if they were not doing it. So when I saw this on Facebook, actually, I did complain about the principal, and I organized a meeting with him. And I did the first thing I did actually is I complained about the principals online, and I shamed him online. Then I called him actually to organize a meeting face to face with him. So and at that time I was able to zoom the pictures of the books in the schools and take a look at the names of. I found 6 books at that time that were very concerning. And when I met the principal, he actually agreed to remove 3 books, so which was a good thing. And there is a that's a story I like to tell. Is that he told me, why did I shame him online? And I told him, well, if you were stupid enough to expose my children to this, I'm stupid enough to shame you. So I told him, if you want to play a stupid game, let's play a stupid game together. I have no issue with that. And I think at some point we have to tell them the truth, not being violent with them, but, talk to them man to man. You know what I mean? So it's just, so we removed 3 books at that time, but I wanted 6 books to be removed, and I do not negotiate with evil. So I went with the journey that I am now, which was to review, the first goal was actually to review the 42 books that were at my daughter's school. That was the number, 42 books. And, not all the 42 books on the Pride wall were bad. There's probably, I found 6 actually that were bad at my daughter's school. So that's where it started. And then I start to put some stuff online and create my website. And I wanted, all the review I was making, I wanted other people to know about those books as well, because I didn't find very good reviews of those books. I find written reviews of the books, but no screenshots of the books right online. So that was very hard to find that. So I decided to buy the book and to do my own review. So what I do actually is I buy the books, I do my own review, then I publish the review on my website, so other parents can see it and other parents can identify which books are bad in school, because that's the things too, where yes, there is bad book in school, but there is thousands of books in school. Which one are bad? So it's at some point we have to be able to identify the books. So that was the hard part actually, is to identify the books that were bad in the beginning. But now I start to know the name of the authors, and the people start to talk a little bit more about that. So sometimes there is a parent that talk about a book that his children was exposed to. So I buy that books and I review the books, and I put this online, share it with everyone in Canada, USA, and all around the world. Yeah.
Well, Pierre, I say let's do it. Parents need to know what are in these books. Let's take some of the most widely distributed, or those books that are most widely available to kids in schools, and go ahead and tell us what grades that these are targeted for, as far as what libraries, either elementary or middle school or high school, and take it from here. Educate us.
Good. I'm gonna share my screen so to show this to people. Okay, here we go. So right there, it's my website. So I think one of the most common.
As a matter of fact, Pierre, let me, since you mentioned your website, I was remiss. First of all, talk to us about your website. What is your website? How can people find this right now? I see, as a matter of fact, I see in the bar up there, the address bar. So go ahead and talk about your website. Yep. Help people know how they can get a hold of you.
Okay, the name of the website is exposingSOGI123.com, and it's a site that I create to show to people all of my finding. Well, a part of my finding. I have way more than what is on the website. I just, gradually I put my stuff there, right? Because, I'm still
And so
working.
people know it's exposing SOGI 1, 2, 3. So that people know what SOGI is. It's sexual orientation and gender identity. 1, 2, 3 is what Canada refers to it as. So that's why you've entitled that. But SOGI is used a lot so that parents understand it's sexual orientation and gender identity.
Yeah. I got a where it is actually. I got a document here that explains what is SOGI 1, 2, 3 right on the website. So the 1, 2, 3s and all this stuff. So if people want to go deeper and understand what is the meaning of SOGI, but basically sexual orientation and gender identity, which is all across. It's all across the world right now. So, and it's damaging a lot the West. So.
And your website, in the second part, you've agreed to do 2 episodes with us. So after this particular episode, you're going to stay with us. We'll continue because you're going to do a deep dive into your website as far as helping parents understand that they can actually go onto your site and begin to look in real time what books are in their kids' libraries. So your site is the most comprehensive I know here as far as giving parents very practical tools. So right now within your website, you have these books, you've reviewed them, and you're actually showing this to us. This is available to people, to parents right now on your site. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, exactly. So also, basically is that. So it's available for parents, and I made the site very simple. There is no ads, there's nothing. It's just what you need. The data is there. That's just a place to share information. So it's there's nothing that's going to pop up, and it's very simple stuff. So for normal people like me who just who want to find some information out there. So yeah, it's definitely I think it's in regards to the books. I think it's one of the best sites out there, and I'm not saying this because I made the site, but I didn't find many sites that had that kind of information in it. But the thing is, I went through the entire process of reviewing the books with the school board, and I did all the useless bureaucratic step to try to get rid of some of the books. I was successful with a couple books, but not all. So I know what when I do the review, I try to show what the parents are going to need to show to the school boards. The big paragraphs of the books, and there is some people that are going to say, well, you take the books out of context. Let's say, well, I don't think there is any context that should allow us to show sexually explicit material to children. So when I show pictures on a book of a man, a boy giving a fellations to a man, there's no context in regards to in school. Maybe in university there could be a context if you study, I don't know, pedophilia, psychology, and that kind of stuff, right? There could be a context for those books, but in secondary schools and elementary school, there is no context that will justify showing those kind of stuff to children. There's nothing. So even the law is with us, actually. In Canada, in USA, I bet the law is with them too. So I show the big pictures of the books, and I can show you a couple of books too.
Let's do it. Let's start because you're really familiar with what are in schools. Let's start with the most widely distributed ones that almost are guaranteed are going to be in the libraries. So start with the ones that probably are there that parents need to know that are there for the kids right now.
You see, one that is widely distributed actually is widely known. Let's say the genderqueer. I think we all heard about this book, right? So the genderqueer, well, first it's promoting the gender ideology. Here you can see that girl that is shooting herself with testosterone, and that's the pictures I was talking about. Can you see the picture good?
Can you enlarge this? Because I've seen this before in case a parent doesn't have it. Folks, by the way, okay, now I'm going to get all agitated. Okay, this is straight from the book.
Yeah.
Parents, this is what the school board is going to shut down. I want you to see this picture in and of itself.
Yeah.
If one of the guys in my sex offender treatment groups were found with this book, they'd be violated out of group and sent back to prison.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that those who are aware of those books and are keeping exposing children to those books should end up in prison as well.
Okay, because that's exactly right. Because what do we call this? Oh, he's looking at Greek mythology, but what do we call that right there? Right, that's called pedophilia.
Yeah, that's exactly that.
It's pedophilia.
And at the same time that they are showing that on that book, they are actually promoting gender ideology, the fact that not the fact, sorry, the wrong belief that a man can be a woman can be a man, because that girl's in the book, she's dreaming about being a man. She's a girl actually. So like you're gonna see it here. Oh, that one is she's talking with her brothers, and they talk about if the brother ever finger a girl. So he's talking about this stuff to the.
Yeah, look at that, the middle picture right there. So you've never tasted yourself?
Yeah, exactly. And he's talking about he's talking about vagina, so yeah. So here we go. So here they're talking about the I think when the women are going to some inspections for the vagina, and they explain all the pains that come with it. So in a way, it's a way to manipulate women that being a girl is very painful, right? So that's
horror. Yeah,
gosh. I know, it's crazy. And that one here, that one is that one actually, she's the girls with a strap on, that she's dreaming that she's a boy actually. So
again, yeah, parents parents need to understand this book is probably in the vast majority of libraries right now. Try to tell us this is appropriate for kids.
Yeah, this is completely inappropriate, man. I mean, this is, and I just can't believe that some trustee are going to accept this, in school. I think they should not be trustee, man, if they believe that this is acceptable. I mean, it's just, the things that I'm not complaining about, books that show like two dads and that kind of stuff. I'm really complaining about books that show real sexually explicit stuff that kids should not be aware of it, actually, So yeah, the gender quiz is a very well known, and the another one actually, the hate you give. The hate you give it's not much that is very sexual explicit. It's the language in it, and that one you're gonna find this in many schools, man, elementaries and secondary and many quantity. Because they made a movie about that book actually, which was, I think it was something about the hardship of a black family, something like that, So anyway, but the language in the book, it's like you got the word bitch all across the book, okay, and you got the word fuck, you got motherfucker, all the bad word, man, right in the book. I mean, if this is yeah. So you can see. I'm just gonna zoom in. So that's the type of language they use in those books. I think schools should elevate themselves to a better standards, right? And even let's say if the book was a Nobel Prize book and the movie was amazing, the school have to be, yeah, they have to elevate themselves to a better standard. I don't think this kind of language should be in a school, like fuck, bitch, and all the bunch of, it's a very bad language actually. And
look at all that. Look at all of it. And so, Pierre, I appreciate the fact that you're not just showing pictures, but you're also saying, listen, here's this context. Look at how many times the F word's used in this one book.
Look at this. They even say fuck the cops, fuck the police. It's like,
right? And so if your kid comes home and starts dropping the F-bomb, why should we be surprised?
Oh yeah, you know exactly where it's from. Yeah, exactly. It's from the school, man. Yeah, you see how many times they got the fuck the police thing? It's like, it's just, it's all across the books. So yeah, so that one parents can access that review. The language of that books is It's horrible.
You know, there are more F-bombs in this one than I would hear typically in prison in one day.
Oh, for sure. People don't talk like that. And, you know, those people are, those weirdos, they go into talk as well, you know, this is reality, and this is the way people talk. No, that's not the way people talk, because you'll never get a job if you talk like that. You know what I mean? So it's just, you never get anything. Nobody's going to want to talk to you if you say fuck every 30 seconds.
Yeah, as a matter, again, these are more F-bombs than I heard when I was working on psych staff in prison. So if somebody says, well, this is just normal. No, it's not normal, and we shouldn't be promoting it.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the, yeah, exactly. And sometimes what I like to give an answer to questions, or because sometimes the trustees, they go into to say, let's say they're going to say that like what I was explaining in the beginning, that sometimes things are out of context, right? But I want to give to parents the answer to that. So that's why I'm, you know, I know what they're gonna say, but I know what to answer to them also. And parents, if sometimes they come back to you and they ask you, they told you something like you don't know what to answer, just wait, you'll find out.
One of the disturbing things that I just noticed, guys, is we're talking about the book, the images. Just leave it at the top there for a second, Pierre. Just go back to the top for a minute. So right there, it says #1 New York Times bestseller. How can that possibly be? Are parents educating themselves on this, or are they buying this for their kids to make it a #1 bestseller? Which do you think, Pierre?
Okay, the things is, they are actually buying a lot of books that are #1 bestseller just for the fact that they are #1 bestseller. But all of the school, maybe that story is a good story. You know, maybe there is a context to it about some family sufferings or whatever, right? I don't think it's excuse the language, but you know, there's maybe there is a movie about that books. But the things that the school does is they buy a book because it's #1 bestseller. Well, you know, it doesn't mean that it's #1 bestseller that it's good for kids. There is a books like The Bluest Eyes. The Bluest Eyes is #1 bestseller too, and for the New York Times actually too. And the the content of the books, it talks a lot about incest, and it describes actually a father having an intercourse with his daughter with the view of that pedophile. You know what I mean? It's written like if he's explaining his fantasy. It's horrible to
so a book on incest is a #1 bestseller.
Yeah, is that crazy? It is actually. I can't believe it.
Here, in the interest of time, let's keep going. This is just okay because there are a lot of books. Let's review a few more.
But you know, I have hard times to believe that those books are actually #1 bestseller. But
oh, that's right.
I don't know how they get to that number. Maybe it's just a way to, you know, it's just a way to push an agenda actually.
That's right. The New York Times pushing that agenda. Absolutely correct.
Yeah. So that one here, you see. Well, that one winner of the Nobel. Sorry, it's a Nobel Prize of Literature.
Oh gosh. Okay, here we go. So if I'm a parent, I think, wow, winner of the Nobel Prize. So this should be really high up there in literature. My child should be better off for reading this. We have Toni Morrison, and the title is The Bluest?
The Bluest Eyes.
I'm sorry, The Bluest Eyes.
A book.
Sorry about that. That's right. Okay, so you know, I'm not. Oh, look at this. Sexual content, child abuse, child sexual abuse, graphic, sexual, and explicit content. But it's a Nobel winning. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So, but you know, I don't know how it become a Nobel, but you know, even in the case it is. It doesn't matter. No kid should be. Actually, I believe those books are almost illegal because they are child pornographies in a way, because they describe the relations of a man an adult having relationships with a child, sexual relationship in details. It's very weird to read. It's
so this is pedophilia then.
This is pedophilia 100%. This is Cindy will lead on this. I'm just trying to find the. Yeah, it's hard to read, man. It's, it's just. Yeah.
See, that's the whole thing, Pierre. None of us want to even read this.
No.
Okay, as a matter of fact, go back up. Look at page 99. Now, on top, I'm sorry, no, there you go, right? How about this? Do we even hear about this? This is blasphemous. I don't care where, you don't, ready? Wait, go, ready? He puts his fingers in mine and we stretches our arms out like Jesus on the cross. So on top of everything else,
and this is the father explaining that he's raping his daughter.
Oh, so okay.
So is that the daughter? No, that's the daughter explaining being raped by the father.
Okay, so we have criminal activity. So a Nobel-winning book on incest and rape.
You see, he wants me to come.
Just to say this one more time, this is the shit that's in my kid's school right now.
Yeah, it is. This thing is in the actually is in my school district and is in the famous Chilliwack School District.
Pierre, scroll down a little bit. I'm going to read one. Right? We don't have a school board here to shut me down.
That's
if
right.
They make this available to kids, we might as well read it. Okay, scroll down just a little bit here.
That one actually.
We're going to start in the middle. Just 131. I don't know what that is. 131 shivers and tosses. This is.
No,
is this a dad? Is this a dad incest with his kid?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I be strong enough, pretty enough, young enough to let him make me come. I take my fingers out of his and put my hand on his behind. My legs drop back onto the bed. I don't make no noise because the children might hear. Okay, this is criminal activity, by the way. Yeah. I begin to feel those little bits of color floating up into me, deep in me. That streak of green from the June bug light, the purple yellow berries. Let's see, let's go down. Okay, then I feel like I'm laughing between my legs and the laughing gets all mixed up with colors and I'm afraid I'll come and this, okay, let's scroll down a little bit more. This is unbelievable, folks. No wonder the school boards don't want anybody reading this because then they'll know what they're providing to these kids.
Yep.
Okay, let's see. I should get up and go to the toilet, but I don't. Besides, Charlie is asleep with his leg thrown over me. I can't move and I don't want to move, but okay. So this is, again, as Brad just said, this is right.
Yeah.
Okay. In the interest of time, let's do another one.
Yeah, just try to find all the.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one it's all the.
They're right in the middle of it. Here, go back up. I'm going to read another one. I hate reading this stuff. I worked in a prison for 11 years. Okay, right in the middle. I wanted to fuck her 163 her, or to fuck one. Okay, tenderly.
163 is the paragraph. It's a copy and pass of the book.
Okay. But the tenderness would not hold. So this is a father to a daughter.
Yep.
The tightness of her vagina was more than he could bear. His soul seemed to slip down to his guts and fly out into her. The gigantic thrust he made into her. Now, this is a father to a daughter. This is criminal activity.
Yep.
Provoked only the sound she made, a hollow suck of air. Okay, we're done. Okay. Any school board member want to justify this? Okay, Pierre, let's go to another book in the interest of time.
Yeah, it's so wrong to read that. Could you imagine this being in school? It's like you read this, it's so weird, man. It's
Folks, you better find out and stay tuned to the second part of this episode. Pierre is going to show you on the website how you find out in real time whether this book is in your kid's library. What's another one, Pierre?
Okay, another one. Another one too. Actually, another one with incest is identical. That one contained a lot of bad language. Like fuck, bitch, and all this.
Are you saying there's incest in there as well?
Yeah, another one.
Look at this.
Yeah, you can see the type of language. I'm just gonna show you the.
Okay, and this is again. This is under the guise of sexual orientation and gender identity. There's no grooming going on here. No, of course not.
Oh yeah, they're telling people that they are including those books in order to be inclusive.
Yeah, we want to be inclusive. This is the kind of stuff that the inmates, If an inmate had this in his possession during a cell search, he would have been written up and taken to segregation, what's called the segregation unit or the restricted housing unit. He'd go to solitary if he had this book in his possession, even in prison.
Yeah.
This book wouldn't be permitted even in prison.
Yeah, so that's
interesting, right? We're allowing in school the books that prisons wouldn't permit inmates to read.
You see, you can see they talk about the daddy raping his daughter again.
Oh yeah, right there. Okay, I stood up, stiff as a stalagmite. See how much daddy loves you. Show me how much, show me you love me to touch it. There, okay. So this is beneficial for kids to see.
This is full-on grooming, guys. Full-on grooming. Bottom line is this is pedophilia, grooming, incest, sodomy. It's sickening.
No wonder, right? No wonder school boards don't want parents to know what's sitting in the libraries.
You know, I'm going to take this episode and I'm going to distribute this at every single school board. Today's episode is going to get passed around to every single school board. They're all going to have to sit and watch it. I'll email it to every single person in every single school board here in Manitoba before the end of the week.
That's right.
Perfect. Okay, Pierre, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea.
Let's do another book.
You know what? I think, yes. You know, I think.
And Brad, how much time do we have?
Do this. They should take that episode and send this to the school districts. You know, I think that's a good idea because it's very easy. You just send the link. You don't need to say anything. You know.
That's right. You just do a book review.
Yeah, that's it. You got everything in the book. Oh, but you're gonna have more later.
As a matter of fact, ask one of the school board members. Bring this up and ask them if they could read it.
Yeah. Okay, another one is it's perfectly normal. That one is in many times in elementary school. You know, it's got
elementary school.
Yeah, okay, elementary.
So it's being shown to elementary school kids.
Yeah, you see that kind of. You know, the image are bad, but the wording, man, is just when you start to read what they're saying, it's completely ridiculous. You know, I'm gonna go fast, but here you can even see a man to mans and a boy is masturbating. So,
this is elementary school.
You know, this I don't think this is legal actually. So you see kids, teenagers grow up experience sexy feeling when they masturbate. Masturbation is just touching and rubbing any of your body, sex organ. Yeah.
Now they're trying to disguise some of this, obviously, in the sex ed courses throughout the school system, and that's where it's being, you know, controversial because, well, we're teaching your kids the right thing about sexuality, but at the same time, this isn't sexuality. This is disturbing, disgusting, and sickening porn.
Exactly. This is not like talking about, you know, being safe and wait before having sex as much as you can because there is risk in having sex. And
if these weren't drawings, these people would be arrested for showing these to minors.
Yeah. Well, the words are what really comes to mind. Back in my day, in your day, John, you know, we penthouse lying around, a Playboy lying around that our dad may have had or something like that, or at an uncle's house or whatever you may have seen. But the words weren't this. The words in the description weren't this. This is amazingly sick and disgusting and disturbing. And let's talk about the repercussions of this. Obviously, we're talking about, once again, going right back into this trans movement aspect of it where we're getting clinical. And clinical becomes clinical in the sense that the injuries that are going to be sustained from anal sex alone with boy-on-boy sex, not to mention the fact of AIDS, is another situation. So this just doesn't go away. This is something you're coercing kids, extorting kids, and you're going to be intimidating kids into participating in these kind of environments. And you know what? You're also not only grooming the kids, but you're grooming the adults to go along with it. And everything is just hunky-dory. We're all happy. Look, we're a happy family. Yeah. Well, have you even paid attention to what goes on in the southern United States? In some states, I won't say all of them, but we know what happens when in-laws start to do things like this to other in-laws. Come on.
And Brad, we can guarantee, you just know, because the reality is this, when this material is brought in to young people, to kids, these kids are going to act this out. And so rates of sexual assault, student on student, at the same time, they're doing unisex bathrooms. What do you think's happening? And we're seeing it more and more. It's going to happen. The rates of sexual assault will and have gone up since this material has been brought into classrooms.
The coercion is sickening. Absolutely sickening that they're going to allow kids to talk to each other like this and try to manipulate each other in this sort of a way. Even adults shouldn't be manipulating people in this sort of a way, let alone kids. Keep this shit away from my family, please.
Yeah, and the thing, the danger with those books too is that those books are silencing victims of sexual abuse, because there is abuse that happen in school, but there's actually a lot of abuse that happen at home, and they kind of normalize the conversations between an adult and a kid to speak about all those deep details, right? And those who are abusing children at home, they can justify the act because the actions to the children, which the children is grooms anyway, but the actions to the children by showing what they teach in school. So listen, there is a bunch of sexually explicit materials in school. Here's what you learned. Here's what I'm gonna do to you. You know what I mean? And the things too is every time we talk about this, the school board, they always cancel us, they silence us. So then you got the victims of abuse in home that saw the concerned parents that are silenced by this. They always told that they are wrong. Then the victims start to think for themselves, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I should not talk about this, right? Because because every time we talk, so that's a big part of the agenda. Is actually the part of it is to silence us every time.
That's right. I mean, look at on page 159, the quote you have here. So if I'm a kid and I'm reading this, I've downloaded Grindr. Okay, so guess what I'm going to do as a kid? Yeah. I'm going to find out what is this Grindr, and chatted, sexted men on it. It's like, oh, okay, I'm a kid. Whoa, you get to do what on Grindr? I've never physically met men via it. If one was in need of a sexual encounter, whether it was a hookup or something less casual, wait, hold on. Okay, let's back up. Leave it right there. Okay, now somebody can define this for me. I'm sorry, I've only done sex offender treatment for 14 years. Okay, sexual encounter, whether it be a hookup or something less casual. Okay, now they've already shown, okay, this is casual, so it may or may not be something less casual. One could almost always find something. So I'm a kid now, and what's going to happen? However, men on these apps tend to be shallow when it comes to appearance and sexual identity.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, look here. They explain what is the best skills to be an homosexual. Look at this. The ND. Perhaps the most important skill you will master as a gay or bi man is the timeless classic, the end job.
Perhaps the most important skill you will master as a gay.
Yeah.
Okay, forget reading, writing, and arithmetic.
Yeah.
So apparently, the most important skill you're going to master.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, for them, the way they describe the gay persons in that book is, a gay is just about jerking each other, right? Which is, it's not the case, but that's what that's the explanations. Actually, they are putting back the whole stereotype about gay, the whole back to where it was, like, I don't know, maybe 40 years ago, right? It's just, that's exactly what they do with that kind of things, right?
You know what came to light just a few minutes ago as John was reading this? It wasn't that John was actually a poor reader. It's actually poorly written, John.
Poorly written. And
very poorly written.
Well, and what's going through my mind is hopefully this will be helpful for parents is, again, having worked with sexual predators extensively for 14 years, what goes through my mind is exactly what sexual predators are going to do with this material. This is setting kids up for to be such easy prey for sexual
Acceptance.
predators. That's all this is.
It's acceptance.
Yeah.
It's surreal to me.
It's grooming for acceptance.
That's all.
Oh yeah. It's so crazy, man, what happened in school.
Okay, Pierre, let's do a couple more.
Yeah.
I don't know how much time we have left.
Yeah, that one is this book is gay, by the way.
Okay.
He talk about oral sex, and that's the book. And another one that will be what this couple actually, but let's go with sex is a funny word like that. That one is in elementary school. Oh yeah, touching yourself again, masturbations, so they talk about erections and the feelings, all of it. And here between the cheek there is a hole where you poop, but also called feces come out. The hole is called an anus.
Like a child isn't going to know this by now.
Yeah,
again, somebody
exactly.
can say, well, this is just sex ed. No, you look at the overall context of what's going on. These kids are being sexualized through these books. So you mean to tell me an elementary school kid doesn't know this information?
Yeah,
why are they bringing up anus?
But look at this. They say, like other holes in the body, the anus is usually very sensitive, which means it can feel good to touch it. It's like, what's the point of telling a kid that if he touches his anus, he's gonna feel good? It's like this is like pure. Yeah, this is pure grooming. This is like, it's just so yeah. So it's all about the good feelings, right, of touching your body parts. And the thing is, it's in school. I mean, that's the things, right? So it's just, I don't even know. The worst part too is the authors, whoever write those books, are freaking weirdo, because they wrote those books for children. Some of them, not all of them. That book was written for children. I think we should start investigating those authors who write books specifically for children that have that kind of content. If the book is not written for children,
It's funny you bring that up. The FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, down in the United States of America. Up here in Canada, we have the CRTC, the Canadian Radio and Television Commission. They both have responsibilities in place to be actually able to outlaw this type of material. They do it with advertising on a regular basis. I'm dumbfounded as to how they're not injected into this problem, and how come we haven't necessarily attacked, or not attacked, but gone after these individuals in a way that, take it down that line instead. We've talked to the schools, we've talked to your government, you've talked to local representatives, you've tried with the parents, the teachers, the principals, we've gone up every tree. That federal line of the FCC and even the CRTC here in Canada, I believe, can maybe help us get through this. But this discussion has been held before, and one of the things that we've talked about was just the fact that they are disguising this as sex ed.
Yeah. No, it's not sex ed yet.
What I really want parents to think through is, again, is there a time and a place for sex ed? Of course, the schools used to assist with that. This is something entirely different, and you need to think, how would a predator, could a predator use these books? This is exactly the kind of material, even with this, look at the quote in the green square here. Sometimes the big people, sometimes the people, I'm phased here. Sometimes the people looking see a big clitoris and think it's a penis. Sometimes they see a small penis and think it's a clitoris. Sometimes they aren't sure. Okay, what could a sexual predator do with this? It's reading this book. Oh, let's find out.
Yeah, look at this here. Again, right? The clitoris can be very sensitive, and touching it can feel warm and tingly. You know that if a guy was to tell this to my daughter, I'd punch him in the face, like no doubt. You know, I mean, I'm not violent, but I will do it. If a guy was to go there and talk to this stuff to my kids, you know, I'll pay the consequence for it, but it's not acceptable.
There we go.
You know what I mean? It's just,
it's not acceptable for some guy to do it, and it's not acceptable for a teacher to do it either, to be talking this way and discussing this shit in class or putting it out in a library for that matter either.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, they should listen, parents. You know what I mean? Because we have been very patient. We try to solve this issue in a good way, right? This is an important issue. They are abusing our children with those books, and we try to be civilized, you know, and seriously, that's the thing. Outside of the schools, if somebody was to do this to my kids, that won't be good for him. But in the school, I should allow that. It's like, who those people think they are?
This is a different level than the drag shows, guys. This is way more evil than the drag shows could ever be. This drag shows, I don't think, will do this kind of devastation and harm in the end result.
So you're implanting a whole lot of thoughts.
It depends on the drag show, but they all vary, I will say. I said that some drag show are very sexually explicit. Some seems to be, it's the drag show thing. It's a complicated one. Yeah.
Here, keep showing us either more in this book, or let's move on to the next one, because you will also be able to educate parents on what you have been doing to alert school board members. So I want to make sure you're able to tell parents and share from your experience. There we go. Here's some more. Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Which book are we? So the title of this one is Fun Home, a Family Tragicomic. Okay. So what do we have here? I've seen some of these pictures.
Yeah, just gonna show you the one that is the most shocking actually. Well, she always got her hands in her pants, right there it's like.
There we go. What age?
And look, keep your guys off my body. You see here, lesbian terrorist. Look, the background image.
Okay, what age is this book for?
You can find this book in the middle schools and secondary school. That's where I find it. Yeah. Yeah, so just...
Okay, so they're going to give this to kids.
Mm-hmm.
And now let's say we have a latchkey kid situation. Or, now that it's single-sex bathrooms, unisex. Okay, so now we're showing kids this kind of stuff.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, it's the thing is, what is the line, right? Even if they're saying we need some of this stuff for sexual education. First, I don't think they need that kind of stuff for sexual education. They may need a little a graphic of I don't know, somebody when you can see the muscles, like more scientific parts of it, but description of a sexual intercourse to that level, I don't. That's where we cross the lines, that's the main things, right? So,
I mean, even with that book, Pierre. So we pass out that book to kids, and now guess what? Possibly, if not likely, happens at a slumber party.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You don't want the kids to be aware of this at 9, even at 12 years old.
They can't even comprehend the implications of it.
Yeah, so it's because I guess kids are curious by nature, but they may want to experience that kind of stuff, which is not correct at the age they are when they read it. So, but a lot of stuff inside this actually very not correct to experience, So there is many books, and there actually got more books that I presage, but that one is another one here. Is that the one? I didn't update it. That one is another one with bad language again. and does have sexually explicit materials in it.
Look at all these F-bombs.
Yeah, it's all across the library, man. It's very hard to know all the books. I got a chunk of it, but you always learn about new book. So,
well, Pierre, that's why we're so appreciative. You've done the work for parents. You've read line item by line item, sentence by sentence through these books. So what parent has the time? But again, you've taken the time. We need to take the time. But that's why your website is such a resource, because parents now can go to Unmask, right?
Oh no, that one is the link to the other one.
That's a link. Okay, I'm sorry, but again,
both
exposing
on my
SOGI
website.
1, 2, 3. That's right. There you go. So you've done the work for parents.
Yeah, because because I got this is my server actually. It's just to make I got two sites. One is the backup one, and one is the good good
You need
one.
it because people hate the fact that the pushers of this,
exactly
right?
Yeah.
They hate the fact that you're providing accurate information for parents about what's going on in schools.
And I got multiple copy of that site, so if ever they try to shut me down, I got 7 servers, so they will never be able to shut me down.
Well, I can be honest with you. I've shared your site before in the past, Pierre, and I know that I've got some moms out there who have their hands on your website, and they've gone ahead and downloaded all these books themselves already off your site. And the information that you've been able to round up and provide, and they're doing their own justice with it right now as we're sitting here talking. So there's always going to be a moment to reach out to your school board, to reach out to a principal, a vice principal, a superintendent, possibly even the Minister of Education. We recommend that you take every single step that you possibly can to help us and help yourselves in stopping this trans movement, which again is being forced down our kids' throats, as we've proven here today on the show. Jon, any last words before we wrap things up in the next couple of minutes?
Pierre, just that, Pierre, we're indebted to you to think that you had to sit through all of this, but you sat through what our kids are being exposed to. In a minute or so, do you have any words, as we then will hold you over during the break in part 2? We're going to come back and you're going to share with parents the letters that you have written to school boards, so that parents have a template, as it were, that can be effective. And then you're going to show parents how they can locate books that are currently in their kids' libraries. You have it on your site where parents can go to and find a book locator. So any message to the parents right now, and then we'll end this episode.
Yeah, well, I think parents should go on the site, download the book, and they should take the list of books that are there and look it up into the own library. I mean, they don't need to do an entire district like I do. They can just do the school, and if in any hour they find out the books, but start the conversation with the principal. And if the principal does not listen, go to the school board and just do something about that. That's all I can say. It doesn't always work, but we have to counter those people with pervert IDs like that. Those things should be shown to children. You know what I mean? So now you got the data. Just take a look if the books are there in your school, and especially in the school where your children go, because it's way more easy for parents to look it up if the books are there, and the principals have to give you the list. It's not like if you ask the principal for the list, he have to give it to you. So then some principal are going to remove it, because even the principal, they don't know. Maybe they don't know that those books are there. But
So
when
they have to do their due diligence. Pierre, we are indebted to you. Stay right there, and we will continue one additional episode.
Yeah.
So, Brad, thank you as always. And this is just shocking.
Thank you to both of you as well. And yes, this is definitely shocking, to say the least. I know that There's lots of people out there who do know this is going on, and there's lots that don't. We ask that you share, like, subscribe, and don't forget to join our brand new webinars coming soon, which are going to help put the experts right in front of you so you can get your questions and answers that you're looking for. This is Unmasking the Trans Movement with Jon Uhler. I'm your host, Brad Wilder. Remember, this isn't our kids' fight. This is our fight. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.